Good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning. Sorry, let me mute that. Back and ready to continue with our Doxygen replacement. Now, just to quickly remind you where we are. What we're doing, I'm not going to go over how Doxygen works again, but very briefly. We have our source code, which has some things marked up. Maybe there are comments other than sorry, let me start again. We have some source code. In that source code of comments, some of those are doc comments, i.e. / or / bang or something similar. Those are attached to particular elements of the AST. Clang, when it passes the AST, attaches those doc-like comments to the appropriate nodes in the AST. Clang can dump this AST as JSON, and what we've been doing is reading this JSON and turning it into a more useful format, this JSON. We then hope to do output the doc comments related to the AST nodes that they're attached to, and then turn that into HTML. So this conversion, that could be just dumping them as Markdown, or our as ASCII doc, or just as plain text, or you could just have a converter that takes it all the way straight to HTML. There's various different things you could do there. So we're in this stage at the moment. And so let's just have a look. So if I bring up some code we were working on, experiment test.c. This is the file that we've just been working on for the moment, just to experiment with a few different types and make sure that we're handling things properly. So let's see. So you can see all of these are doc comments. This is a normal comment. This is a doc comment. Everything other than this is a doc comment. And things attach typically to the the symbols immediately below them, unless you have this left arrow thing. That's kind of the end of line attachment. So that is getting taken into Clang and output as this on the right here. So we have for every single node in the AST, we have an ID, a kind, a location and range. Some of them have a name type that is C type, or like language type, and then any children are in this inner array. And so you can see that this field, so like we're looking at W currently, it says where it is, line 34. We get an offset into it, and so on. And then we get this inner struct, which has a full comment, which is then breaking down into paragraph comment, text comment, and so on, until we actually get to some text. But more importantly, this full comment has the actual range, and so we actually take this directly out of the file in one go using the range. So we are using this code, and we are converting it to this simplified JSON. Some of this will probably disappear with time, but we are collapsing all of that documentation stuff in the comments into a single doc, and when it gets if there's multiple lines, like a different type of doc string here, then we will just escape those and as JSON demands. Just before coming on stream, I haven't really done anything meaningful. I was just briefly playing around with adding alignment. So let's see. Let's see now, where was I? Yeah, so this is where it was before. I was just taking, so this is printing the name here, so like this bit, seeing how many characters this is, and then if it's fewer than 10, which is the largest one we have here, then adding some extra alignment spaces. So if I just save there, I'll bring this over so you can see it. Maybe. I'll try anyway. And zoom in on that. So as you can see now, they're all aligned, which is kind of nice to read. I wouldn't have wanted to spend too long on this, but it was pretty quick. So I just added a should align member in the JSON struct, and yeah, you can actually simplify that down into the same way that we're doing indenting in other places, which is this %s, basically just padding an empty string with based on the length of the string here. What was unused there? Let's put that back out to out.json, and then we can see what it's actually saying. Oh, it's not saved. That might be why. And so you can either align before the colon or after it. I don't know. Don't feel particularly strongly. So we do that, or we do that. I don't think it really matters that much. And rather than doing string length here, I'm just going to pass this in as a string, I think. And change this into .s. Change the little macro to expand that to both an integer length and the sorry, into both an integer length and the pointer. I'm going to change that to subtracting there. Int name.len. Now, one thing I did notice is that you can actually pass a negative number here, and it doesn't actually matter. So I think I'm just going to make this just always do the subtraction, and then we can set that here. Line col and count even. Line col count. Okay. Mine's in name.len. We now need to make sure that this, or use the string. I'm also going to do at the same time is make that just JSON printf rather than fprintf. Okay, so let's just record a macro QQ surround until quote L. There we go. And then just carry that through. Probably missed a few things. Print push. Those definitions I think also need changing here. Maybe not actually, although that probably does. Nearly there. 582. And then it's no longer should align. It's what was it? Line call C equals 6. And then I want to do define JSON line scope, takes in JSON, and we want to have the align column C, and so we're doing scope rather than scoped here. The difference is that scope saves some data. So we're going to do int, probably have to do align P, so we have a previous alignment equals col C. Sorry, no, actually equals JSON JSON align col C. I need to remind myself how this works actually, because lib/c/c.h scope. So at the end we want to return this. I actually think we want to do this manually because yeah, we want to assign it and also save it, which I don't think we can do in a single expression. We'll just do it manually. Okay, so for that equals the previous thing. We're going to equals, actually no, we don't need to do anything there. Make it we'll just use align P again actually for the condition. That's fine. Oh, actually, I don't know whether the previous one's going to be 0, so I can't do that. So we'll just do So this is the condition. We actually want to do something before that the first time. We want to set no, we'll just leave the condition there actually. Okay. So with this one, we will set it to 0, but first we want to set the current pointer, sorry, the current value to the new value. It's called C. So JSON align call C equals call C. And then when we finish, we do JSON align call C equals the previous alignment. Yeah, okay, cool. So let's just check if that compiles. It does, and then we'll try using it in here. JSON align scope JSON 0. Alright, I think I'm just missing a comma. There we go. Did I break the way that the range works? Or those things just not have ranges? Oh no, those things just don't have ranges. That's fine. Let's step through that and just see if it's doing what we wanted to. This is kind of just as a novelty, but also I wanted to test this approach for other things. Basically, we want a stack, but rather than having to manually manage some memory for that, we can just use the the conventional function stack and the ordering of our the layout of our code in order to both represent and store that stack. Okay. Unhandled key. Okay. Spelling lock. Okay. Didn't I? I'm sure I. Let's just double check out our running file. Okay. Okay, fair enough. All right, let me just find where I've got that range. JSON align scope 588. Interesting. Okay. Strings.c.ast.json. Oh right, yeah. This is still doing the old thing. Helps when you run it on the right file. Let's have a look. Right, JSON align col C. Align col C is 0. Back to 6. Cool. Gotta love for loop based hacks. Then I need to actually check that it's doing the right thing inside those, I guess. So let's go do one there, and then do the same one there, before and after, so we can see with and without the alignment. JSON align col C is 6. All right. Align col C minus int name.length. Okay. Maybe that was not the best example to look into. Line. Okay. Okay. It doesn't, like, they're obviously a bit different, but there's actually more space in that one. Just make a note that equivalent to 0. Just try setting that something higher. Let's see whether that works. Print string goes through printf. So that's clearly breaking. I guess the question is just why. If I just go back to JSON printf, does that do anything? Maybe the negative wasn't actually equivalent. Maybe it was just one particular example, or it was weird. Let's do it conventionally. Okay, so the actual scope thing is working fine. Can align that to be no, it does need to be 5. Okay. Yes, we just pick the length of the name and then align to that. All right, that's sufficient diversion on that. Let's go back to something else. Docs, add alignment and scoped alignment setting. Okay, let's do something useful. I think what we need to do, the thing we're missing from this currently is a proper management of types. As well as IDs, really. All right. So if I'm going to dump this to file, I think one thing that I need to change is these IDs should actually be, when I'm referencing parent, Well, we have two options. One, we could generate the thing on the fly as we go. The other option is that we could have this as like a work in progress node and then consolidate that into a final set of nodes afterwards. Like these node flags are useful for the work in progress, but you don't really need them afterwards. I'd actually not sure. Oh, do we even use these anymore? I mean, like we could. That just could just be node name length. We just always do the range, don't we? So we don't actually need to check that. We just do this for the other ones. Right, so the only one we're actually using is this a decal. So that's pretty straightforward. Node flags. Because we changed the way to do this to be done here and then here, just in case we didn't get this one. That satisfying feeling of removing code. Oops. Okay. Not a bother. Right. So one thing we're going to do is this needs to become an index. The question is, do we want to do it as an 8-bit index, in which case we can just overwrite this memory? Or do we want to do it as a 4-bit index? It's 8-byte index, or 4-byte index. A 4-byte index obviously being a lot more compact. I mean, it's not exactly small to begin with, is it? Actually, yeah. So I don't want to save this LVM ID, so this has to be a work in progress, or we have to make a separate array. So I think we'll do one pass where we get all the information out that we need. Then we'll go over this and make a simplified node structure, and like an internal simplified node structure. And then we'll do a JSON pass where we output this. So I've got about half an hour or so now. Now, the thing is, once we have this simplified, if we go through and generate all of this, we then know exactly how many nodes there are. So we can allocate an array in one go and, know the size statically. So this kind of has to be a pointer if we're sticking with the chunk array. Or at least it's inconvenient not to be. How easy is it to get the index? It's not too bad. Wait, how am I getting index currently? Logical index. Alright, so it's just as we go through, yeah. So that's 01 as we iterate. But that doesn't work for getting parent indexes. I think I'm just going to save the index and parent index. Just to be really, really easy. And then when we're generating node push, we can do node.index equals let's actually do it this way around. We'll do node index equals nodes total n. So it starts off at 0 and then goes up each time. We'll change this L of VM ID to actually be sorry, it's getting text. Index oh no, we're not. We don't want to do that. because the previous one's always going to be different from that. And then node.parent if node.parent index equals, actually, node.parent index equals node.parent. If so, we do node.parent index, otherwise we do 0. And it's its own parent. That's fine. Okay, so we've got our nodes logical index. Alright, let's just assert that the node index equals logical index. Node index and then we can set the parent to I guess we don't really need to save parent index if we've got parent, do we? We can just do it that way, and parent index. I mean, unfortunately, it's the same size as if we have both, but cool. And that even actually covers this case, so we don't need to handle a separate parent issue. Now, if this were in a single array, we could get the index 01 directly from the address and just determine the offset from the beginning of the array. Oh no, I'm out of tea. How sad. Why is this type visibility attribute getting recorded? Hmm. Type. How's everyone doing in chat, by the way? Alright, so let's look at our ints for. It then goes into inner constant array type. Right, so under what circumstances are we doing the inner things? Should recurse. Right, so we're doing it if it's a decal, yeah. Okay. So what we want to end up with is a bunch of nodes that are scoped correctly. So if, for instance, the type is globally defined, then it should be with the parent is the global. And if it's defined within a function, then the type should be scoped to a function. Assuming that's how C does it, I think. Let's have a look at that, actually. Inner function type. Inner equals A. Inner dot x plus b. Alright, let's see what that does. Inner function type. Alright, so it's within this compound statement within the function. Cool. Okay, so it's already, we get that scoping, we should get that scoping appropriately. Great, okay. Right, so what I want is to add a new node every time we encounter a new type, including primitives, so that we can just treat everything exactly the same. Right, okay, so making sure that the things are in a prefix order then becomes a little bit more difficult. Because if we're in the middle of something else and we encounter an int for the first time, then we want to make sure that the int is scoped to the entire function, not to the entire translation unit, not to just the function. Right. Or maybe for the moment we just don't deal with these and only do global things. I think that's probably the better way to go. Alright, so let's just add this as do handle types scoped to other constructs. I mean, I am wondering whether this would just be easier to have as a flat array, and then all of the references up and down are just by index. Probably would make things easier, but yeah. Okay, so let's just handle the basic type, and we'll yeah, we'll probably need to do some extra work after that. I actually don't think we need to handle type here. It doesn't seem to have anything particularly useful. What we really need to be doing is go through these. Okay, so the question is, do we want to have a separate path for walking this types tree, or do we want to kind of mix it in with this stuff? I feel like we want to have a separate one. Those can be, that's fine. Right, so I guess you could actually always add the built-in types right at the end, and then fix up things that are attached to it. Alright, so far we have decals, we have types, and we have comments. Are there any other actual, I guess, statements? Yeah. We're going to hit full comment before we hit anything else, so we don't really need to handle that if we don't recurse. Node decal, node comment, node statement, node type. So actually let's just change node to node kind. Kind. Equals 0. Zero. For range, start with 1, end with node kind count. And then we want an array of strings. String node kind suffixes equals I like to do specify it directly with the designated initializers. This is where we're starting at 1. So we're going to look at comment, statement, and type. Node.kind suffix in I node kind suffixes, then kind equals suff in kind index. Break. Assert. Kind is greater than 0. Okay, I have to go in a sec. Unknown kind. Node.kind. I'm not sure if this is the exact best way of doing it, but it's kind equals node kind unknown. Just add some proper syntax for things. That's not how it works. Translation unit decal. It's a good start, isn't it? Does that not have decal? Let's just print these out and see what they look like. Suffix. Node kind suffixes. Helps if I do the right thing. Oh. Yeah, that might be why, if you actually suffix decal kind equals kind index. Why is it 0 though? It's something weird's going on there. All right, but I have to go. Not sure exactly when I'll be back, but thank you very much for joining. You can check out WhiteBox at whitebox.systems, and I will be back shortly with some more streams on this Doxygen replacement. So until then, I will bid you all a very fond farewell. Take care, everyone.